If you've ever been judged for the things you don't have, this story is for you. Stay to the end because what happens to the woman in this story will shock you. And if you love stories that teach real-life lessons, hit that subscribe button before we begin because you don't want to miss what's coming next. Emeka Obiora was the kind of man who smiled even when his pockets were empty. For 6 years, he worked as an accountant in a construction firm in Port Harcourt, coming home every evening with the same tired but proud look on his face. His wife, Chiamaka, loved him back then, or at least she loved what he provided. Then, one rainy Tuesday, everything changed. The company shut down without warning. Just like that, Emeka lost his job, his salary, and slowly his wife's respect. At first, Chiamaka tried to be patient, but patience has a season and has ended quickly. Within 3 months, the whispers started. Emeka, when are you getting another job? Emeka, the rent is due. Emeka, I can't keep managing like this. He tried. God knows he tried. He walked from office to office in Port Harcourt with his old brown file, the one with his certificates inside, now soft and worn at the edges from handling. Every day, the answer was the same. We'll call you. Nobody ever called. One evening, Emeka came home to meet the sitting room half empty. Chiamaka was folding her clothes into a large box, her sister Ngozi standing by the door, arms folded, refusing to even look at him. Emeka, I can't do this anymore, Chiamaka said, not even turning to face him. I have a life to live. I'm still young. I can't be married to a man with no future. He didn't shout. He didn't beg. He simply asked her one question. Is this really about the future, Chiamaka, or is it about right now? She didn't answer. She picked up her box, called a taxi, and left with their 5-year-old son, Kamsi, in tow. The door closed, and Emeka sat alone in that empty room, staring at the walls that used to hold laughter. Now, here's something Chiamaka didn't know. 2 weeks before he lost his job, Emeka had submitted a business proposal to a small agricultural cooperative. Something he'd been working on quietly during his lunch breaks. It was a plan to supply processed cassava flour to bakeries across the South-South region. He never told his wife because she never asked what he did outside of his paycheck. To her, dreams that hadn't turned into cash yet were just noise. 3 months after Chiamaka left, a letter came. The cooperative had approved his proposal. Better still, a foreign investor working with them in Lagos wanted to meet him personally. Emeka sold the only thing he had left of value, his late father's small piece of land in Owerri, and used it as capital. He worked day and night. He slept in warehouses. He negotiated with local farmers himself, learning the business from the ground up. Slowly, painfully, the business began to breathe. By the 2nd year, Emi Flour Processing had 3 functioning factories. By the 3rd year, his cassava flour was feeding bakeries in 5 states. Meanwhile, life had not been kind to Chiamaka. The man she left Emeka for, a flashy contractor named Obina, turned out to be all noise and no substance. He disappeared the moment his own contracts fell through, leaving her to struggle alone in a rented apartment in Aba. One afternoon, tired and broke, Chiamaka took Kamsi to the market to sell recharge cards, anything to survive. As they walked past a newly built supermarket with a giant golden signboard, Kamsi suddenly screamed and pointed. "Mommy, look! That's Daddy! That's Daddy on the poster!" Chiamaka's whole body went cold. There, on a massive billboard above the supermarket, was Emeka's face, smiling confidently beside the words, Emi Flour Processing, from Port Harcourt to the world. She stood frozen, watching people walk in and out of his new supermarket chain, workers greeting him with respect, cars parked outside worth more than everything she owned combined. Emeka noticed her. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither said a word. Then he walked over, not with anger, but with a calm she didn't recognize. "Kamsi," he said gently, kneeling to hug his son first. Then he looked up at Chiamaka. I hope life has been treating you well." She opened her mouth, but no words came. What could she say? That she regretted it? That she was sorry? That she wished she had waited? He didn't ask for any of that. He simply arranged for his son to spend weekends with him, treating Chiamaka with quiet respect, no bitterness, no revenge. But every night, alone in her small room, Chiamaka replayed that rainy Tuesday over and over again, wondering what her life would look like if she had only believed in him when he had nothing to show but hope. Sometimes, the people who seem to have nothing are simply building something you cannot yet see. If this story touched you, don't scroll past without hitting like and subscribing. Tell us in the comments, would you have stayed? Let's talk about it below.